Pro tip, have your wife start and get everything ready for you because, oh, it's so much fun to do this. Normally, she does all of it because she's better at it than I am. Hey everybody, I'm Chef Dad, and this is my Alaskan smoked canned salmon.
It's come home day any minute.
Just got off nights, flew in just now. Now it's time to go get some fish so we can get canning. We're down here at Kenai Beach. We're gonna go get our salmon. Got everything unloaded. Gonna get our nets and we're gonna get them in the water. We'll show you everything else that's in the wagon when we get down there before we start. Pro tip, take off your wedding ring before you dip net. Gotta say, if you come down here, don't leave a mess. Clean up after yourself. This garbage on the beach is a joke. Besides our nets that we got to put together, right here we've got our bucket. We've got some scissors to cut the tails because we got to cut the tails to prove that they were subsistence caught. Got a marker to mark how many fish we've caught up on top. A knife to gut, a bonker, and another one to cut the tail fin if we need to. You don't want to forget doing that. If you walk up there past that orange stuff, you get a ticket. So it's time to put the nets together. Make sure it unwinds. We're ready to fish. This is a gill net. They swim into it. It opens up and they get their head stuck. Their gills get stuck in it. And they can't get away. That's why we use them. Tomorrow is the last day of dip netting, so we got to get the fish that we want now. Huh. I hit one on the way out. Did you see it jump? Give it a bonk. Keep it humane. That's an indication that it's subsistence caught. Now we're going to gut it and bleed it. Go in above the gills. Cut straight down. Above the gills. Yeah. Cut straight down. Real simple to gut. See the hole? Put your knife in there. Just cut straight up. Don't cut your fingers up at the top. And you're just going to pull all the guts out. This is a buck, so there's no eggs in it. If you wanted to keep the eggs for something. Either bait or to make something special out of. It's also got this bloodline in the back. Cut down it. Make sure you get all that blood cleaned out. His is a female. You tell the difference. There's a hook on the nose here. It's a small male. This is a female. See the difference in the nose? One fish in the tub. So we're gonna make a new mark area. Let's go get another fish. Definitely a bigger buck. You can see the hook on its nose. If you come down here for subsistence fishing, you should know what you're fishing for. This is a red run, but there's other things that come in. Humpies, pinks, kings. You cannot keep kings. But there's flounders too, and you can keep flounders. We're not going to keep any if we catch them because they're mushy. If you get a subsistence permit, please know what you're fishing for. Every fish we caught is a red so far. Not tiny, but not massive. And look, we got other people filming our YouTube video. Make sure to watch Chef Dad. That's just nerves. It's already dead. 11 so far. We've been here fishing for 20 minutes. Maybe. We can have 25 and that'll fill our permit. I don't know how long we'll be out here though. So I don't know how much work we want to do all night. Oh no! One of them jumped out! I had two! Beautiful fish. Make some good canned salmon. Another beautiful female. Yep. There's a double. I got it. Calm down. As soon as they're dead, you want to get them gutted. See the worms in there. They're in all fish. Don't stop till you're clear out of the water. Go, go, go. You got a double. Go, go, go. Good job, Leland. They come in different sizes. They're not babies. Double. Double. I'm gonna lay down for a second. Okay. Oh. We're done with our subsistence fishing for the year. Now it's time to can. But I've been up since yesterday. So I'm laying on the rocks, watching my beautiful wife gut fish. So what are you doing?
I'm making them clean so my cutting and filleting is easier when I get home. I clean the outside and then I clean the gills.
So it's easier to clean when we get home?
Yeah, because then your cutting board doesn't get all slimy and bloody.
She's saying her because I've been up since yesterday, working nights. I'm gonna help. I don't know how much help I'll be. Before we leave the beach, we gotta mark off our permit. We got all the tails clipped.
We did not use a guide when we were on the Kenai River.
That's it. We're legal. We're ready to go. So we're all done. Nets are pulled apart. Fish are all put away. Well, we're not done. We got to fillet fish. There's packaging. There's all sorts of stuff to do, but we're done down here. Beautiful day. Quick, easy. Keep pushing. We're almost there. I'm working on a 24-hour day. Part of living in Alaska. You gotta get while the getting's good.
You can do this any time of year. While we're filming this is salmon season, but you can have these in the freezer like we did, and you can can them anywhere down the road. Making our canned smoked red salmon. This is Alaskan Kenai red salmon. The best. I don't care what anybody says. Fight me about it down in the comments. We took all these packages out last night about midnight. Sat them in the sink. That way they were all pushed together. They didn't thaw completely out. If they thaw completely out and you try to cut strips, you make a mess. You destroy your fillets. So if they're partially frozen, you can get a nice clean cut through them. So we're getting it prepped to go into the can. So take a look at your fillet. If there's anything that you want to dress up a little bit, cut it off. We're not wasting any of this. These are going to be smoked and then canned, so they're not going to be heavily smoked. They're going to be lightly smoked. Same seasoning as our other video, if you want to check it out. But we don't smoke them until they're dry. You don't want them cooked at all. You just want that smoke flavor, so when you can them, it amplifies that flavor. And then we are going to cut these into about 2-inch sections, as you can see here. So we're cutting them about that size so that they'll go into a half-pint can. Okay, so that's all the salmon cut up. So now what we have to do is we have to put our brine together, because these are going to be brined for 2 hours. We have everything prepped in front of us. We don't have our salt and sugar measured out, but everything else is prepped in front of us. So we're going to take our container over here. We are going to go in with 1.5 cups of some kosher salt. Now we're going to go in with our really hard brown sugar. Tourist season here in Alaska, our population goes from 4,000 to a million. And if you want any of these staples, the salts or your sugars or anything like that, you have to have it way ahead of time. 1, 2, and I'm calling that 3. That is precise measurements. Now we're gonna need 6 quarts of water. And look down, look. See what happens to the brown sugar? It starts to melt. Okay, so now all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go through Now all I'm going to do is I'm gonna go through here and I'm gonna mix it until everything gets dissolved. As I can feel down in here, everything's pretty much dissolved. This is basically gonna start curing the meat, chemically cooking the meat. So if you have big clumps of salt and sugar, that is how you cure meats, and it will change the consistency and texture of that meat. So you don't want big clumps of it because it can ruin your outcome. We're gonna get the fish in there. I'm gonna put a glove on because I don't want to get covered in fishy smell. So now we're just gonna layer these in. It may not look like there's enough room in here, but there is. And just make sure everything gets pressed down underneath of it. This is starting the 2-hour clock right here. So as soon as that last piece goes in there, our 2-hour clock has officially started. This water is cold. You want it to stay cold. You don't want anything to start changing the consistency of the top of that meat. Every time you can something, you amplify flavors. If you put too much salt in, it's going to be salty. If you put too much smoke on this, it's going to be too smoky. It's going to have that acrid flavor. We're going to soak them. We're going to rinse them off lightly. We're going to put them out on the racks. We're going to dry them. And then once they're dried, we'll put them out in the smoker. They got that pellicle layer. They're going to collect some of that smoke. After we smoke them, we're going to bring them in. We're going to pull the skins off of them. And then we're going to move on to packing them in the cans. All of our jars being sterilized right now because my dishwasher has this amazing sterilize function on it. And then I'll get out the canner. We'll pack all the jars. And then once we move to that point, I'll explain a lot more of that process. You do have to be precise according to the FDA. So what I'm doing is the way that I'm going to do it, and I'm not suggesting that you do it that way. Always follow the FDA recommendations. Then every once in a while, we'll come through here and we'll just turn this over. So 2 hours, this has got to sit. Make sure, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and share, comment, please. Send this to everybody you know. Okay, so the salmon's just about done, so we're gonna go ahead and get our racks ready. The racks have a couple different sides to them. You can do it either side, but this has a rib in the middle, so you're gonna, if you lay the fish over it, when it smokes, it's gonna leave this bump in the center of the rib. And you do want to have a pretty good layer. So we're gonna go across, we're gonna go back across the other way. Now these are all prepped, ready to go. All we got to do now is wait for another 30 minutes, and then we'll start laying out all the salmon and get them drying. These are going to be right around 140 to 160 degrees. Salmon has been in for 2 hours. So now what we are going to do is we are going to rinse it. I'm going to show you how your rack should look. I'm going to take these through, and I'm not rinsing them a lot. Let's just rinse them, shake off a little excess water, lay them on the rack. You do not want them touching. You want to be able to have airflow in between them. Doesn't have to be much, but you need to have airflow in between them. Okay, so that's all we're going to fit on that rack. Your rack should look similar to this. Everything should have a little bit of breathing room in between. That way the smoke can get in between and we can get coverage of the smoke everywhere. 5 fish did 1 smoker and 1 tray. Now we need these to all get dried off, and then we will get them smoking. Thank you. This one closed up.
Set a timer for 2 hours. Then it's time to can. Okay, let's go get all the fish off of the smokers. There it is. I'm gonna get these in, get them cooling off, get the skins off of them. So, just like that, skins will come off. I'm going to save the skins for the mutts. Be gentle with it, you don't want to tear everything up. You can these with the skin on them. It's not a big ordeal. But you're not going to want to eat the skin after it's canned. It's going to be slimy. Okay, we got our jars sanitized. You can sanitize them by boiling them. Put them in the oven. Follow FDA regulations. I put them in the sanitized cycle in my dishwasher. That's what I did. We are going to take Chef Dad smoked salt. And I'm going to take 1/8 of a teaspoon for these half-pint jars. And I'm going to drop in 1/8 of a teaspoon in every one of them. This will pretty much be the only seasoning. And if you put in too much salt right here, it is going to be too salty. There's nothing you're going to be able to do about it. This is one of those things that you have to take extremely seriously. You are storing food for a long period of time. So you have to make sure that everything is clean appropriately. Behind me, which I'll show you in just a minute, we have the lids that are boiling. And that's just, for one, sterilizing the lids. And for two, it's allowing them to be sticky on that rim. So now what we need to do is we need to fit all of our fish into our jars. So we are going to take a jar and we are going to see how well these pieces fit in the jar. So it looks like it's a pretty full jar. So we are just going to keep filling every jar to about the same fullness. So if I put it in and I see this right here, there's a lot more room in there. So I'm going to break off a couple pieces and I'm going to pack it down in nice and neat. You don't want to do a lot of touching on the outside of the rim, but I'll show you here in a few minutes what we're going to do to make sure that our rims are clean. Follow FDA regulations, but right to that bottom edge of the rim, if you want to look at it, is how far you can fill it to. The reason for the head spacing is to make sure that you don't overpressure these and explode. You need room for that gas to get to the top and then force its way out through the seal on the top while you're under pressure, doing the pressure cooking. That way, when it cools down, it pulls that lid in and closes it. But you need that initial gas release, the pressure to release all the oxygen so that this prevents these from spoiling early. Those lids are boiling pretty aggressively. Go ahead and turn this heat off. Those are done. They're sterilized, they're sanitized, they're ready to go. You can see there's a bone right there. They're going to melt away. They're going to go away through the canning process. One of these canners is going to be able to hold 24 of these half-pint jars. Okay, we have all of our jars filled. So now the next step is to make sure all the rims are clean. You want to make sure the rims are clean so you get a good positive seal. So I do have vinegar here. I'm getting rid of the salmon oils and any other contaminant that I may have put on the top. All that fat and oils on the top of it from the salmon will make it so you can't get it sealed. There's really no joke to it. I mean, botulism is a real thing when you're canning. So at this point, it would be a great time to put in any jalapenos or any other spice that you want. You just got to be really careful because this can amplify that flavor a lot. Now that we've got every one of those cleaned up, we are ready to start setting the lids. Do not grab the inside. And you're just going to set them straight down on there. That's all this portion of it is. Once we get all of these lidded, we're going to come back through and we're going to put the rings on. Can you reuse lids? You can only use a lid once. There is lots of people out there that say that they use their lids multiple times.
I can't recommend it. The seal is only intended to be used one time. Now we have all the lids on here. So now we need to go through and just start setting the rings. So when we set the rings, I'm just going to come through, throw them on, twist them down. And I'm not setting them yet. I'm going to come back through and I'm going to set every one to the same tightness, which is going to be hand tight and backed off just a quarter, just a smidge, not even a quarter. Now that we've got all the rings on, now it's time to set the rings. So super loose. I'm going to take it till it's hand tight, 2-finger. And then I'm just going to back it off a little bit. That's it. And they can actually, as long as you've got a little bit of looseness in there, it's all going to be okay. If you have them too tight, the jars will explode. If you don't have them tight enough, you're going to leak everything out and you got a mess and it's not going to seal in the end. You can reuse your rings and jars indefinitely if you keep them in good condition. If the rings start to rust or get pitted or anything like that, your rings, you can replace your rings and you'll want to replace your rings. Jars have gotten a lot more expensive. Okay, we need a new ring. Things don't work, don't use them. Okay, those are all set. I'm happy with them. Now it's time to get them into the canners. So if I just pulled these out of sanitation, they're going to be hot. So the water that I'm going to put in the canner would be the same temperature as whatever the glass is. Being as these are room temperature, I'm going to put room temperature water in there or colder. It's fine. They can come up together. All American. This one right here is an older All American. I've used them for 30 years. This canner is already full of water. So I'm going to get this one on here. This is at the bottom. And that is to shield the cans from the heat that hits the bottom of these. You also have to have water in here. This pressure cans with steam. We are going to start adding some water. And you can see how on the bottom of that, you can see where the water line was. So I'm going to bring it up to just about right here. We have to get all the cans in here. These dogs need to be able to lift up. It's all these little tighteners, fasteners on the side of this. Once the lid goes on and sets down, you tighten down the dogs. I'm going to start. We're going to set some jars down in here. 3, 7, 8. Perfect. Okay, now we take one of these fancy things. And that goes right on top of the jars. We're going to go in with another 8. Okay, another one down. 8 more to go. Now we're going to swap sides. And this one's going to get 8 in it as well. One thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get some vegetable oil and I'm going to run a quick seam right around the outside so that we get a good seal. So I'm going to just do a quick oiling around that one. I'm just doing this so that we get a good positive seal. Okay, and then there is an arrow right here. See that arrow? That arrow ends up right there. So arrow goes off of it just a little bit. Then it turns into it. You can see right down here, there's these little hooks that got to get around the bottom of the dog. Now I'm going to turn all these and get all the dogs to the top. And we need to take these down evenly. So it's like a tire. Turn these until they start getting tight. Crank them down. And then our last 2 here. Make them tight. Now we're going to go back through. Make sure everything's tight. Now this one's ready to go. The weight is right here, and you can see this beautiful weight. It's got 5, 15, and 10. So depending on your altitude, you can change your weights. You will need to change your weights. We are at sea level, so we use the 10-pound weight. One thing that I am going to do is I'm just going to put a small layer of vegetable oil around where that's going to go. We will not put that weight on until steam starts passing through here. We are going to get rid of all the air and fill this pot with steam. That's what we need to do. Once it starts spraying steam, we can put the weight on there and then bring our temperature or our pressure up to where we want. The higher the pressure, the higher the temperature on the inside of this. That one's ready to go, so I'm just going to get it on high and let it go. We need it to start steaming. Now, same thing with this one. I'm going to treat it exactly the same. We're going to put a nice layer of oil on there. This one too has an arrow. Arrow's right there. There's the notch. Turn it into it. So now we're going to do the same thing. We're going to get all these dogs up. Okay, and then we're going to tighten it down in the same pattern. We're going to get that one on high. Same thing. We're just going to put a little bit of oil right around that where the weight's going to go. Now we're just waiting for them to start steaming. What we're waiting for is a solid stream of steam. See how it's puffing right now? We don't want to put that weight on. They've got different poundages on them, and as you can see, they're tapered different on the inside. So each one has a different taper to it. That adjusts the pressure in poundage. So 10 pounds is what we want. So I'm going to go on with the 10-pound weight. It is not at 10 pounds yet. We're going to watch our gauge here, and then we'll slowly adjust our temperature, our firing rate, so that it's just riding at 11 psi. So it's just able to lift that weight. You don't want it rattling and going crazy because that means it's too aggressive on the inside. So this one is just getting to its point where I can put the weight on there. You'll see the steam shoot up here in just a second. So we'll give it just another minute. This one is just approaching the 10-pound mark. So that's going to start lifting and rattling the weight, which is going to maintain that pressure, but we're going to trim back our gas so that it'll slow that boil down. Okay, so that one just hit its 10 pounds and it's starting to lift the weight. That's exactly what we wanted to see. So we're just going to trim back the temperature a little bit and make sure it stays above 10 pounds. I'm going to call this other one good. We're going to drop that weight on there. Make sure it's the 10 pound. This one's starting to go. This one just hit 10 pounds. So 90 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and set a timer for 90 minutes back here. So as you can see, this one's setting pretty level and it's holding 11 psi. This one is chattering. We don't want it to be chattering because it's too aggressive on the inside. So we're going to go ahead and turn this down and kind of aim for the same flame that we have on the other one. Okay, so there's our timer. We're going to reach back here. We're not in a hurry here. We're going to turn that timer off. I did it faster than you could look at it. Okay, then we're just going to... So now these are off. Now they are just going to cool down. Nice and easy. So we've got another half hour of them cooling down. We cannot pull that. If I pulled that right now, it'd explode all my jars. And it's super hot. It's going to be super hot. It has to get all the way down to 0. In 30 minutes, we will pull these, but we'll release the last of the steam. Once I'm satisfied, I'll pop all the dogs, open the lids, and we'll start pulling them out and letting them cool down. And you should hear periodically pop, pop, pop. That's all of them sealing. There's a little bit of pressure left. It's okay. We're just going to pull that weight. When you're releasing these, make sure you start from the back. That way, if you do have steam release, it releases away from you and not towards you. This can be dangerous. Okay, so now I've got those ones off. I'm just going to crack these a little bit, and I'm going to lift that lid. So I know that there's no pressure left on it. I'm going to pull that lid off. I'm going to do the same thing with this one. I'm going to open the pressure away from me, potential pressure away from me. That way, if there's any steam, see, and I can wiggle the lid. So I'm going to release any steam that potentially was there, so I know that we're safe. So I've got these handy dandy grabbers here. I'm going to take it and I'm going to set it right over here. Do not reach in there with your hand. This is all very hot. I have not found one that hasn't even sealed yet. Oh, that one right there. Has not sealed yet. They have this dimple on the top, and it creates a vacuum. So we're gonna have to keep an eye on that one. That one may not seal at all. So I'm gonna take this one out, and I'm gonna set it over here to the side because that one is compromised. Doesn't mean we can't eat it right now. We can eat it right now, but it is not shelf stable. But you know what? We get to try that one. It's gonna be great. So you can see this one here has not sealed because that dimple on top has not pulled itself back down. That doesn't mean that it's bad. That just means it hasn't cooled off enough and the pressure hasn't released from it. Those are all sealed. So you can see all these dimples on them are down. So that means every one of those sealed. It's just these two here who haven't. I guess we can open it. It looks good. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm gonna give it a try. It's super good. 46 cans that sealed. We got 2 that didn't, so that's a quick snack that we get. Firm.
It's not soft. You can tell because there's less liquid. It is drier than what we're gonna get out of the ones that sealed. It is drier. It tastes like perfect salmon for a dip.
I like the way that these turned out too. I mean, look how firm that is. It's super hot, but they're super firm. They hold together really well. This recipe's amazing. We're gonna do some shorts in the future with making stuff with these. Thanks, everybody.
I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up.